welcome to my channel. I am Lori Cooch, and today we're going to walk through the Good Life Cardmaking Workshop. The goal is to bring you a new video every week highlighting a workshop kit or another product that close to my heart has, and maybe even throw some Cricut stuff in here as well. I'm starting with the Good Life Cardmaking Workshop kit because one, I feel that this is going to sell out pretty quickly. So I want to make sure anyone who follows me might want it, that they have a chance to get it, because these do tend to sell out very quickly. And I just want to get it out there for you if you want it before it's gone. It does include a stamp and thin cut set, and it's 16 cards for each of 4 designs. I'm going to walk you through the cutting guide, and we'll make one of each of the 4 cards. So it comes with glitter gems. It comes with the Good Life Card Making stamp and thin cut set, and I just love this little fence. It's so cute. And then it comes with your card bases and envelopes, which I'm going to set aside. Has some slimline card bases and envelopes as well. And then we're going to have the cardstock. I don't know the colors of these. I apologize. Maybe it'll tell us here. Harbor, Acorn, nope, Toffee. That's Mist. I don't think so. And some White Daisy. Then we're going to have some of the Good Life paper pack that's double-sided. So we've got this two-toned paper here. So this will be everything we need to make 16 cards. And this kit is G, like George, 1288. It is $40.95. So let's get started. First thing it shows is materials you're going to need. You're going to need the workshop kit. We got it. We're going to need the Mist exclusive ink. We're going to need Intense Black exclusive ink. We're going to need the gray brown and red brown tri-blend markers. Got them. Going to need some foam tape, and we're going to need the die cut and embossing machine. So I've got all this ready, and let's get started. So this shows you the stamp and thin cut set again. And the first page is your cutting diagram. So it's going to show us that when we cut, we want this paper to be on top, and we want it to go this way. This will give us the correct orientation for the pieces that we're going to be putting on the card. So then on the next piece, it's going to be with the polka dots up front. And again, with this going side by side. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off our zip strips this way, because we're not going to need those. If we did need these, it would have shown it very first, is what it typically does. Oh, move that. So if you already have this kit, do it with me. Let's walk through it together and create these cards at the same time. So I try to keep my workspace clean. So as I cut off these zip strips, I am going to put them in the bag that the workshop kit came in, because I'm not going to use them on this project. Okay. So the first thing it shows us is we're going to lay our paper this way, and we're going to cut we're going to cut 4 1/2" by 5.5" strips. So I am going to do a 1/2" strip. Two of those. And then I'm going to trim them both down to 5.5. I need to open this. And then I'm going to do the second one. I'm going to take this little piece and put it off to the side. We're not using that. We have this one at 5.5. Now, I don't know how this is going to work because they're darker, but these are labeled as 2A. So I typically like to write on with a pencil on the back what piece it is. It's hard to see it, but then not all of them are always dark like this. But I know this is going to go to the second card. And I kind of just make stacks for each one. So then the next piece, still keeping our paper going horizontal, we're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 1.5 inch by 5.25. So I'm going to go 1.5 inch. And 1.5 inch. By 5.25. And another one, because there is 4. Now these are all 1B. Again, I don't know how, I mean, I can see them. I doubt that you can see what these are because the pencil's not really showing up real great. So those, I put the 2s here. I'm going to put the 1s off to the side over here. And then the next set we have is 1.5 by 3.5, and there's 1, 2, 3 of those. Oh, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of those. And that's going to be a combination of the card 3 and card 4. So I know I'm going to need 1, 2, 3, 4 strips at 1.5. So I'm just going to cut those. These kits are a great way to get ideas and inspiration to make cards on your own as well. So I need 1, 2, 3 of them at 3.5. Well, I'm any more than that, but 1, 2, 3, 4 of them at 3.5 for 3C. So I'm going to just measure those. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to mark those as 3C, 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 and 3C. I'm going to just open my maker and put the 3s up there. And then for 4B, we needed 1, 2, 3, 4. Also at 3.5 in lengths. 1, 2, 3, 4, and these are all 4B. Now, writing this in pencil is something I learned from Karen Pedersen at the Close to My Heart home office. She showed this in videos, and it's just a technique that I have adapted because it's such a great idea. Now, 4D is also going to be 3.5 in length. And we need 4 of those. And these are 4D. And they go in my 4 pile. And then lastly on here, we need 4 of them that are 1 by 4 1/4. So on our last little bit, we're going to do 2 strips of 1. And that's actually exactly what we have left if you've cut correctly. So I'm going to line that up and split it in half. And 4 1/4 4 times. Now notice I'm not throwing these extra pieces away. I'm putting them off to the side. You can use those on other projects. And these are 1C. And then now we're going to use the other piece of printed paper, and this time we want to make sure our lines are going horizontal. So we're going to be using that polka dotted side, and we're going to cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 at 3.5 by 1.5. So I'm going to go 3.5 wide. And then we're going to be 8 of them. You can see they all fit. It should be this whole sheet just going at 1.5. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need 8. 6. 7 and 8. Now, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them are 3B and 4 of them are 3D. So we're going to go 3B, 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 and 3B. And then we have 3D, 3D, and then lastly, we're going to need for a 1/4 inch by 5.5 inch. So I'm going to cut two of these at 1/4 inch. So that'll be here. And we're done with that piece, so I'm going to put that back in my bag to make sure that I have it for later. And 5.5, 2 of these on each one at 5.5. And these are kind of narrow, so I'm not probably going to be able to mark them, but they are 2B, so they're just going to go in my 2 pile. Okay. Then we'll go to the next page, and we're going to be using the Harbor. Now, our cardstock, remember, is double-sided. There's a dark side and a light side. So we have the dark side up, and we're going to do 3 3/4 by 5. So we're going to go 3 3/4 wide. And we're going to have 2 that are 5 inches long. Move that a little bit there than I wanted to. So we know that those are 3A, so I'm just going to write 3A on the back of both of these. And then down here at our 3.5 inches wide, we have one that is 1.5 inches tall. And that is a 4A. So that will go in my 4 pile. Then the next strip, we're going to have everything's 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. So I'm going to cut all of those. This is a really quick way to make a bunch of cards at one time. And they're super cute cards. There's a reason these kits sell out nearly almost every month. And these are all 1D. Then we have a 1/2 inch by 3.5 inch. So we're going to do a 1/2 inch strip. I'm sorry, 1.5 inch strip. I always double check before I cut. And I have 3 of them at 3.5 inches. And these are all 4A. And then we're going to have 3 3/4 by 5 again. So we're going to be trimming off a smidge. Three and 3/4 by 5. And these are also 3A. Now we're going to go to the sage. This one we're cutting on the light side instead of the dark side. So I'm going to make sure I have the light side up. And then we're going to do a 1.5 by 4. We're going to do 3 of these at 4. It's going to be our whole strip. And these are all 3E. And I wrote that on the wrong side. This is why I do it in pencil. Okay, then we have 3 3/4 by 5. And then after the 5, there's a little 3.5 by 1.5. So I'm going to trim this down to 3.5. And 1.5. Okay, so these ones were 1A. And this one was 4C. Then we have another row that's exactly the same. So 3 3/4. By 5. The longest part about making these kits is the cutting. They'll go together so quickly. And then again, we have the 3.5. By 1.5. And let's see, so we are again at 1A, 1A, and 4C. And then we have a 1.5 by 3.5 strip. Okay, so the first one though is 1.5 by 4. And that is 3E. And then we have 2 that are 3.5. And those are both 4C. Then we have 4 strips that are 1/4 by 5.5. So again, we're going to cut these at 1/4. And I'm always afraid of moving this when I'm... And then our 5.5. Again, these are going to be too small to try and write on, but they also go to card number 2, so we're just going to know. We are up over halfway done with the cutting. Okay, now we have, oh, we are done with, nope, we're not. So the toffee, we're going to 1.5 by 2, cut 6. It only shows us using 3 strips. Oh, I see. Okay. So these are each, this is where I got confused. So you'll see that this one is going to be 2.5 by 2. This one is going to be 1.5 by 2, and they're going to want you to cut 6. And this one is going to be 2.5 by 2. So this one is going to be 2 by 1.5. So these are all going to be cuts made with the die cutting and embossing machine. So I am going, we know this is going to be 2, 4, 6. And our mat is 6 by 13. So I want to make sure that I have absolutely enough space to get these on there. So using the dark side, I'm going to do a 2 and a 4. It's just like 4 1/4. So I know that I'm going to have enough to run it through. And I know I'm wasting a little bit of cardstock on here, but that's okay. And then I'm going to do that third one at 2 1/4, just so I know I'm wide enough. I'm going to set that aside because we're going to do all of our thin cuts at the same time. Then we go to the white daisy, and we need 1 1/4 by 3.5. So we're going to cut 1 1/4. I'm sorry, 3 3/4, not 3 1/2. So I need 3 of them at 3 3/4. And these are all 3F. 3F. You can see I probably need a new blade in my cutter. It's a little frayed on the back side, but it's the back side, so I don't care. Well, I will, but not right now. And then 2 1/2 wide. So we're doing 4 of them at 2 1/2 by 2 1/2. And these are all 1E. And then lastly, for the cutting, we need 1 1/4 by 3 3/4. I'm just going to do a quick little 1 1/4. Now, if I was doing this not on a video, I would just grab a piece of my scratch or my leftover paper, because when I have a non-full sheet, I just throw it in a bin, and then I would have just used that to cut this little piece. But since we're doing it this way, I'm going to do it as they show it. So then 3 3/4. And this is 3F. Okay, so now, whoops, put that away and I don't need it. So now this piece, it's telling us to cut it 5 by 6. So I'm going to make sure this is 6 inches wide, which is going to fit on my paper. And I'm not doing, I know I did a little extra wide on this one, and I just really wanted to make sure that these fit. They're going to fit, but I get nervous. This, I have a lot of room, so I know that they're going to fit. And then we did, they're showing 2 of them at 5 by 6. Okay, so I'm going to put my trimmer away. And I'm going to get out our die cutting and embossing machine. Now, if you're not familiar with this, I'm going to try and show you. There's a, you can turn it so if it's going to be your die cut, which is your thin cut, 3D embossing, or letterpress 2D images, you can shim it with this. So you can add, instead of sticking more cardstock or a rubber mat, this, you adjust the tightness right here. You can make it looser or tighter. And I know mine typically likes to be a little bit tighter, not a whole lot. It will work without it, but I like to just make sure. And then once you put this down and lock it in place, there's sections on the bottom, and it sections to your table. It doesn't do so great on mine because I have a textured finish on here, so it doesn't get that tight seal. let me grab. I use the magic mat from, I don't know, well, I know where it's from scrapbooks.com. It was given to me, and I just love how it works. I also love our magnetic mat from Close to My Heart, but I have used mine so much I need to replace it. It is pretty warped. I don't need the stamps. I'm going to open these thin cuts. I'm going to show you a trick. You can double up your paper. So like this, I'm going to be cutting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these fence things. I can double stack my paper and cut 2 at once. So that is what I'm going to do. Okay, so remember how we cut, I cut this strip long enough to do both of these, and then I cut an extra strip to do these. So I'm going to, and we're doing it on the dark side, make sure you're on the dark side, not the light side. I'm going to just lay this on here. And then I'm going to put the die cut with the blade side down right on top of both of those. And I need to line it up. And you know what? This is so close. I am so glad I cut this. Oh, because it was supposed to be 2.5, and I cut that at 2 1/4. So we're not going to double this one up. I will show you. How wide did I cut this one? Oh well, we'll make this work. So then you put the platform on here. And you just run it through. Some people tape it down. You can if you want to. I don't find I need to do that. And I know we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these. So I'm just going to cut 8 of these real quick. And I'm probably not cutting these in the way that they're going to show how to do it. And it's okay. That's going to all fit. I mean, the strip I am. They're going to all fit on there. So how many do I have? I've cut 3. I didn't think that I needed this machine when it first came out because I had a cuddle bug, I had a big shot, and I finally said, okay, I'll try it. And I gave away my big shot, and my cuddle bug is shoved in a closet somewhere because this machine is amazing. I don't need anything else now. I don't have to shim anything. I don't have to worry about things not cutting. I can use it for die cuts. I can use it for embossing folders, and it just adapts perfectly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what did I need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there's actually, I'll show you after this cut. You probably don't even have to back up over it, just have it. That's what I do. There's storage on each side. So I'm going to turn this around now because we are mostly, well, don't throw your thing on the floor. So we have 6 and we need 8. So I'm going to be able to get those other 2 here. Again, this isn't exactly how they had it laid out, but it'll be okay. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this will be our 8th. And that is all we need from this one. We're just going to pop out all these little pieces. I'm going to try and just get them all. Look at how clean those cuts are. I just love, 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 love this machine. Okay, so there's our 8, and this goes to card 2. It is P2, so I know this is going to go to 2, which doesn't make sense because we're only making 4 cards of each one. But okay, we cut 8. Yeah, we're going to use double. Okay, so I'm just going to get this off of here. Now the next thing we're cutting in the toffee are these little fence posts. And there's 2 of them. And we're going to be cutting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 slats of those as well. And I'm going to just keep trying to use this same piece, because why use the other piece we cut? Said 8, yeah? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So this one moved. Oh, maybe not. These are smaller pieces, so they're going to just come out, and that's okay. We can take them out each time. These ones you might want to tape down if you are afraid they're going to move. I am not that particular. I know we have plenty of scratch paper, or not scratch, extra if one moves and I have to recut something. So just taking them out and setting them with our card 2. That's our 3rd, we're cutting our 3rd set right now. Had some extra paper in there. And if they don't come out, fine. Leave them in there and we'll just keep cutting. So that was, well, that one's coming out, so we're going to go ahead and third. Got paper everywhere on this table now. And you can feel when it cuts it. That's 4. And I'm moving this up so I don't have to run it through so much, because I don't need to run the other pieces through because we're not cutting there. This is 5. Just need to have enough out to make sure I can get this on top. Oh, come on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be 6. Remember, we needed 8. Seven. And then number 8. So I'm going to do this. Pull our mat back out because I'm hitting my camera stand over there. You can feel where it goes over and you can feel where it comes out, so you don't have to run it all the way through. If it gets stuck, oh, there it came out. Okay, so that's all we need on the toppy. So I'm going to put these back on our magnetic carrier sheet. Then we're going to be going to the white daisy. And, oh yeah, okay, so those were all P2s as well. So those are all over here with card number 2. Now on the white daisy, we're going to be doing multiple cuts, and these are not, so I'm going to go ahead and double this up. So then we're going to be putting, and the reason I'm doubling it up is because we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 of each of these, and so I can cut 2 at a time. So we're going to have, looks like a mailbox, a milk jug, this piece, and this piece. So I'm going to be cutting another set down here. So I'm just trying to get as much as I can to make sure that I have room for the next set. Now remember, I'm cutting 2 at a time. So it's going to be a little tighter, and I didn't adjust my tension. I probably should have. Okay. Ooh. Okay. So we have 2 of each of them. If I can get them off of here without losing any. So I think I did lose something already. Nope. So we have 2 mailboxes, 2 of these ones. Maybe that's a wheelbarrow. And these also say, well, it's P1, P2, P4. So I'm just going to set them over here because we're going to end up stamping on them. And I seem to have lost a milk jug somewhere in here. And I'm going to guess it fell down here. There it is. Okay. So there's our other milk jug. And now we need to cut them again. I have oh, there it is. So we have the mailbox. Just gonna make sure they all fit on there. And cut them again. Okay, as I pick these up, I'm going to put them back on the carrier sheet. So there's all 4 of our cuts, and we just did it in 2. Okay, now it is time to assemble. So now that all of our cuts are done, I'm going to get this extra paper we don't need off of my desk. The next page for card 1. It's going to have us stamp. Now, I like to stamp everything prior so that nothing tends to blend while we are coloring. So for this card, we're taking the wash bin, and the milk jug. We're going to be stamping those in intense black ink. So I'm going to be, it's like once the ink is dry, color with the lightest and middle brown gray. So I want to get those stamped first so that they're drying while we're assembling the rest of the card. Neither of these are very big, so I'm going to grab a 2x2 block. And our intense black. And I stamp on the little cushion so that we get clean, crisp images. Sorry if my head gets in the way. Yay! I love these little galvanized troughs. I actually have one on my patio. Made my husband, I didn't make him. I asked him to make me a fountain out of it. So we have a little galvanized trough on our patio with rocks and a fountain. Now normally I would be cleaning this with my stamp chamois right away. I forgot to put water on it. So I will clean this after I am done with the video. Grab another, I have more blocks. Oh, I'll just take this one off and clean it later. So the next we have is the milk jug. And I have one of these on my porch. Anything country or farm-like, I just love. So now we're not going to assemble all 4 cards right now. We're just going to do one. I'm sorry, all 4 of each 4. Does that make sense? There's 4 in each set. We're only going to do one, but you'll get it. Okay. So set these aside for right now. I'm sure we're going to need them again. I know we are for the mailboxes and the wheelbarrow. So for this card, we're having a $4¼ by 5½ card base. We're going to have the sage, that is sage, cardstock, so we're going to just put that on the front. I just kind of eyeball things, get it where I want it. Now keep in mind, we sorted everything out by project number, so we have everything we need in one spot. So then we have the dark or the whiter piece of paper here. Not my favorite tape runner, just what I had handy. And we have this piece. Nope. Did I forget to write on the correct side? I think I did. So I wrote 1C on the polka dotted side, and it's supposed to be on the other side, but we're going to have this piece here, so it's okay. I'm going to just put it this way. So when you're writing things down, make sure you are putting it on the correct side. And see here, it tells you how far down to go. I just eyeball it. Then we're going to have the harbor. And that's going to cover where I wrote 1C. Now we're going to be stamping. Move these out of the way. The hey there, friend. Move this out of the way. In mist. So we have hey there. Just going to kind of line that where I want it. And find a friend. And put that on here. Now I'm doing it this way so I can pick it up on the block at one time and stamp it at one time. It's not always the easiest thing to do, especially with the smaller. Silly. Okay. Now I'm going to get the mist. Now I am going to stamp all of these at the same time, even though we're not making all 4 of the cards right now, but just so all the stamping is done at one time. Yay, how cute. I ink everywhere all the time. So if you're like me, make sure you don't get it on things that you're touching. Okay. So now we're going to add this to here. But there is these little sprigs. So you're going to want to stamp that before you put those on there, because it'll cause a lip and then they're not going to line up right. So there is just the one. And that's going to be done in Archival Black. I'm sorry, Intense Black. Oops, get that out of there. So again, I'm going to do that on all 4 of these so that I am stamping all at the same time. And I'm just eyeballing it because I don't know exactly where these are going to fall, but it's okay. And now you can make these, you can add whatever you want to these. So I'm going to do that. They don't show it on here. But what I am going to do is I'm going to ink the edges. Just give it a little bit more definition. You can use a sponge, you can use how I'm doing it, however you want. A sponge is going to give it more of a softer look. This is a pretty bold edge. Oop, see what I just did there? So we're going to end up sponging this one. Or just coming in this way. Oh, you know, I kind of like that better. Anyway, let's do that to all of them. Add a little bit of woohoo. I like that. Gives it a little bit more of a distressed look. And I know I haven't done any of this side yet. So I'm just running the ink across there. Ooh, they're all looking a little different, which is perfect. So make these yours. You don't have to follow, you don't have to do what I'm doing. You don't have to follow their directions completely. You can do whatever you want. Okay. So now we are ready. So it says, to put this on here. And then we need to start coloring. We need 1 and 1. Now I'm going to color them on here just because sometimes the markers go through. Not always, just happens sometimes. So it tells us to, once ink is dry, color with the lightest and middle brown gray. So that's red gray. So lightest and middle. So we have the mid and the light and the dark gray. So I'm going to start with the mid and come in on these right here where these lines are and across. Again, you can do this any way you want to. There's no right, no wrong. You don't even have to use these colors. And then I'm going to come in with the light and blend it all in. going to do the same with the milk jug. Now, keep in mind on the milk jug, they're using the red gray up there as well. So then I am going to come in with the light red brown on the top up here. And do the inside. Okay. And it tells us to attach the bucket, this one, with 3D foam tape. So I'm just using, we do have our 3D foam tape, but I'm using some leftover pieces from some shaker cards because they're pre-cut and it's just easier. Might as well use these up. And we're going to stick that on here. And then I need some adhesive on the milk jug. And then it tells us to take our underline friend with the lightest red brown. So we got red brown, we have light, and I'm going to underline the word friend. And lastly, for this card, we have a large and a small gem. You can use tweezers, you can use your fingers. I'm just going to use my fingers. So there. I really, really love this. So much better than if it was just plain. So there is card 1. We will move on now to card 2. Move all of our pieces for card 1 off to the side. Card 2 is also an A2 size. So I want to see something. Did I miss? Okay, so sometimes there's mistakes in the Close to My Heart instructions, and you're going to see here that they have a piece here called 2A of the striped paper. When we're looking at the striped paper, I don't see, oh, it is right there. So sometimes Lori is not smart. Okay, so it is those little pieces that we couldn't, oh, don't listen to me. Lori loses her mind. Yep, 2A, it's fine. I need to find my smaller tape runner because I just had it like 2 days ago when I was making projects and now I can't find it. So give me a second. That's a mini. just refilling one of my tape runners here. Oh, I didn't need to. Okay. So this piece is going to go here. So I'm just going to put that down there. And then we're going to have one of the little pieces. And that's a mini. And then we have the sage. Okay, I should have stamped first, and I forgot. So the first thing we're going to do, since we forgot to do that, is we're going to stamp that mailbox. And just because I want them all done at the same time. And I'm using a 2 by 3.5 block. We're going to stamp that in intense black. Some people stamp and then thin cut. There's no right or wrong. You do what works best for you. My chair keeps creaking. And like I said, I would normally be cleaning these right away, but I'm going to come back after we're done, after the video is done, and clean all these stamp sets. Okay. So on this card front, I got to let this dry, but we know our mailbox is going to go here. And then we're going to have 2 of these on here. So I want to just see here, like, are they adding? Prepare pieces 2A, 2B, 2C. Attach P2 toffee and light toffee fence accents as shown. Attach prepared mailbox accent with 3D foam tape and stamp missing you friend. So attach P2A, so you can look back, which is what I'm going to do. 2A, 2B, and 2C. And what I'm trying to find out attach P2. These are all P2s. So, okay. They're adding extra on top of this. And it looks like they're doing the dark. Interesting. So it looks like they're doing this and putting those little pieces on top, which is fine. We can do that. I just want to make sure by looking at the other cards that we're not using those for something else. And we're not. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stamp the missing you friend onto here. I know it's going to go up here in this top. And I do that so that I don't get any ledges or if it could cause me to not get a clean stamp. I'm running out of blocks. So that's okay. So we're gonna have missing you. And we're gonna have friend again. Now I haven't cleaned that. So I'm just gonna kind of like stamp it off on, and it was in mist, so the black is going to be darker than it, but I don't want to get that on there just yet until I get it on my block and get it stamped. So I'm again going to just try and line this up the way I want it before I pick it up on my block. Get our intense black. Yay! Now I know I'm going to be making the other 4 cards as well, so I'm going to just grab those and stamp them while I have it all lined up. Okay. So I can move those out of the way and I will come back and finish them up later. So we're going to go ahead and add our fences. Still waiting for this to dry. I'm sure it's dry, but let's just make sure. Best way to add the fences, I would say, would be like a liquid glass or liquid glue. I'm gonna, maybe, if they're white, I'm gonna run them through my Xyron. And the little fence posts as well. I know I need 4. Now I'm going to show you a trick. I'm sure most people know it, but if not, I'm just going to smooth it out and then take something that's not sharp. So I'm going to just use my Cricut tool, and I'm going to just go around the edge, and that kind of just severs the adhesive so you don't get those stringy pieces. And I know a lot of people don't like Xyron because then you get little stringers and then it picks up things that you don't want it to pick up. And so this is a way to avoid that. And it doesn't take that long to do. Okay. And then once you peel it off, you have clear stickers with no adhesive stuck around the edges. See? Unless you do what I did and you just stuck it in there. So now you're just going to line them up. And I'm going to grab some tweezers, provided I can find the ones I want. You guys are going to think I'm insane. I think I'm insane. I'm going to use some tweezers to put these on. Now it looks like in the picture that they did the fence posts on the light side, but they didn't show us that in the instructions, or I would have done that as well. Okay. And then we have some little gems, which well, put one up here. And now we need to color our mailbox. I know I had, oh, it's right there. Okay. So it tells us to, once ink is dry, color with the lightest and middle brown gray and the middle and darkest red brown. So we're going to go lightest and middle brown gray, and that's to cover the mailbox part. So we're going to go around the edges here, add some streaks, and the top. And then the rest we're going to color with the light. Now it's hard to tell it right here, but when it dries, it will show the difference in the colors. And I'm going to twist this because it's just easier for me to color it this way. And all these color marks are going to blend in. And I can come back in and add some more dark if I want to, or mid. And now this one tells us to middle and darkest red. So I'm going to start with the mid and do the post. You're going to get the best blending look if it's still a little wet while you're doing it. So now that I've done that one, I'm going to do the dark, and I'm going to just come in and add some highlights to it. And maybe blend it in again a little bit with the mid. This time I'm going to do, that's light. I'm going to do the dark first. And then come in with the mid. Okay, and then it tells us we're going to put this on with 3D foam tape. And I'm just using pieces that are left over from a shaker card. And we're going to overlap this mailbox just a smidgen. There. So there is card 2. How cute is that? That's adorable. Oh. And we will move on to card 3. So we're going to be doing some stamping. So I'm going to just grab all 4 of these. And it looks like we're going to be stamping happy birthday. I keep forgetting where I put this. Okay, so actually I don't need all 4 because we're going to be stamping them on these. So get my intense black ink. It looks like we're just going right in the middle. It's a pretty stamp. Very clean. And then we will be having our little sprig. And again, I haven't cleaned that one off yet, so we're going to do that real quick because it's black and not, we're coming in with a lighter color. So I'm just going to grab my stamp shape, my spritz cleaner real quick and stamp that off. Okay, so now we're going to have the mist. And we're just going to add some sprigs of grass at different variations of height. Across the bottom. They did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I did 5. However works for you. Gonna get a little more on this one. I am again going to ink the edges of this. I just like that look. You don't have to. Okay. So I'm going to be more careful this time and not drop it. But I did. So we're just going to continue that. Get a little, I did it over there. So I'm getting a little bit more on this side to make it look intentional. And for the sake of ease, we're just going to grab one of our sponges and we're just going to ink up the rest of these this way. See, it gives a totally different look. I really like the look of a finished edge, and that's why I do this even when they don't show it. Okay. Now we can start our card front. So we're going to have the harbor. on the dark side. Then we're going to have 3 pieces like this. Now remember, I wrote on here so I know they match up here where they go. These I just eyeballed and knew. So I'm just putting adhesive on all of these at one time. I know this is going to be center. And I didn't get it straight, so I can move it. Yeah, I need to move that middle one. Then we're going to have our sage, and we need to underline still. So we're going to put this. They say to add 3D foam tape. I don't know if they're meaning on here or then once it's put on here. I'm going to do it that way. And we need to take our lightest red brown and underline happy birthday. And then I'm putting the foam tape on this piece. They may have wanted it on the white piece on top of the sage piece. I'm doing it this way. Come on. And that is card 3. How cute is that? And now for the 4th card. That one is a slimline. I just have to find them on this mess that is over here on the corner of my desk. Okay, so now on this one, they stamped thinking of you on the sage. So I'm going to grab all of our sage because you know I want to stamp everything at one time. But our card is going to be lined up this way. Did I cut one too long? I must have. So I'll come back and trim that later. So we're going to have that piece, this piece, and then one of these, and then one of these. But I am going to stamp the thinking of you all at one time. And we're going to stamp our wheelbarrow because we need to color that. So we're going to stamp that first and move these out of the way. we're stamping the wheelbarrow first because we want it to dry before we color it. Again, sorry if my head gets in the way. Like I said, I'm going to try and make these videos every week, showcasing a product line. So September is going to be, I forgot, homegrown. Is this homegrown? I believe this is homegrown. So I'm going to be doing projects using the homegrown papers and kits. And then October will be something else. So if you want to do these with me, you can pre-order them. I will be doing the scrapbooking kit this month as well. And these, you know, as I've said, these do tend to sell out. So don't wait too long to get them. And then we're doing Thinking of You. Three times on our sage. Did not get that lined up good. That's okay. That's the joy of a homemade card. It is not perfect. It is not manufactured. So there'll be links if you want to get this, this kit. I will have a link to it for you. And be sure, and if you want to make the others with me, get them early so that you know you'll have them. I get so sad when someone's like, oh, I wanted to get blah, 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 but it's sold out. Don't wait. They sell out so quickly, and it's impossible to guess how much stock they're going to need, so they try their best, and some of the items just sell better than what they expected, which is a good thing, but not if you were wanting to get something and you missed out. And lastly, okay, so then it's going to tell us to White Daisy, Intense Black, once it gets dry color. Prepare pieces as shown, attach 4A, 4B, 4C, 4C, and attach wheelbarrow with 3D foam tape. Okay, easy. So we're going to bring our card back in. Now this one, so it shows we have this is an inch up and then 1/8 of an inch between each one. So I'm going to guess that this is 1 inch down. You can put it on your mat. You can eyeball it. I'm going to eyeball it. That's what I do. I have the T-square. I have my all-purpose mat. And I just eyeball it. I don't want things being to where they look like it's manufactured. I want things to be a little different on every single one I make. So I just eyeball. And then if I don't like the way it looks, I can always just move it. Okay, now we need to color one of our wheelbarrows. And it tells us to use the red-brown color with the middle red-brown. So we're just going to do what they tell us. I'm just going very lightly so it doesn't go out of the lines. There. Make sure you get the wood parts. And we are putting this on with foam tape. And we're going to add some gems. So we have a little one up here. And a little one down here. Big. Okay, so there is our card number 4. So let's recap. This was card number 1. I added some additional inking there. Card 2, miss you friend. Card 3, happy birthday. I again inked around the edges of that. And then card 4. So I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you like the walkthrough. I know that when they were done online on Facebook, a lot of people always tuned in and checked them out. And I just want you to see how completely easy it is to make these kits. And find my bone folder. I don't have one right handy. I hope that you'll buy it, but don't wait. Like I said, it does tend to sell out. So again, I don't remember. Was it 1288? I will put a link to it in the bottom. G1288. Thank you for watching. This is my new YouTube podcast, and I will be doing things every single week. And I'm so excited that you're here. Click subscribe, share it with your friends, and let's get to know each other. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.